everyone, I welcome you all to the first video of the 17th module on role and functions of school counselors by grade level with context to rural and urban school counseling. School counseling was established more than a century ago as a result of a variety of socio-political and ethnic modifications in Western society, such as in the United States. Similarly, socio-political and ethnic trends have formed educational counseling around the world, including in India. School counseling in India is still at an early stage. In the present life, financial improvements, ups and downs in the family, raised divorce rates, and having one parent have led to a variety of emotional problems as well as social, professional, and mental health issues in India over the past decade. These huge financial and social changes have negatively impacted children and youth in school, resulting in increased suicide rates, huge school competitiveness, peer and parental pressure. School or community counseling will be an external source for a variety of problems for children and adolescents attending to school. The learning objectives of this video would be to understand the role and function of school counselors in rural and urban settings, to comprehend the student advocacy for rural students. Professional school counselors have a significant part of their students' development. Rural school counselors often experience loneliness, less accessibility, and limited financial circumstances, influence from parents and the community, and an ambiguous separation of work and privacy. One of the features of the rural educational counseling is understood as the emerges from the research in the sense of isolation. Students who attend rural schools often feel lonely and confused about the limitations associated with the university and vocational choices as well. For instance, people who grow up and live in isolated communities often limit their exposure to the vast world and the range of options available after graduation. Receiving the benefits through educational counselors, teachers and parents have an important role in enlightening students about the future. Another factor associated with student satisfaction in taking choices after school is the adequacy of student skills, but the importance of family impact cannot be underestimated. Secondary pupils frequently say that families have a significant part in determining professional choices. Rural pupils are frequently unfamiliar with professional and academic opportunities beyond what is expected in their community. Students in rural communities are expected to be there for their families, and often their parents encourage the students to be with their families and evade chances that might force them to leave. Adolescents in rural areas may have lesser outlooks of attending colleges. They enter the labor force directly after degree. The role of school counselor is to promote the students' interests, provide educational, career, personal and social counseling services to students, provide classroom orientation lessons in academic, career, personal and social areas, work with teachers, school staff and parents or guardians to support students, analyze data for program implementation and enhancement. Now let us see about career guidance to rural pupils. Pupils from the rural community include a significant number of disadvantaged students. They would have difficulty making professional choices without any help. Many people from rural community are not aware of what is happening in employment scenario. As a result, students find it difficult to compete with the preferred classes. Let's see the role of the rural educational counselor. The educational counselor's role is exclusive. The impact of the rural community on the part of the educator needs to be taken into account. Stress from the people is one of the most important battles for school counselor. The challenges related to community visibly exist for many rural school counselors. Hence, they feel a need to avoid community attention. The work of the counselors have highlighted many issues. They familiarize themselves with the norms and values of the community so that school counselors can reflect on the impact of their personal and professional behavior on the school community as well as on the lives of their current and future students. School counselors practice counseling program by providing special facilities for pupils, families, teaching staff members and the public. The four classifications are educational orientation program, individualized schedules of pupils, services of responding and support system. Coming to the educational orientation program, it provides educational counselors with rewards, choices, orders and instructional methods that is required to deliver the general curriculum of the school. It includes the services like organizational structures, education and study skills, vocational preparation, interpersonal relations, social skills, and multi-ethnic consciousness and education about addiction. Second one, individualized schedules of pupils. It emphasizes activities to help pupils develop their future paths according to the talents and capabilities of the student. Educational counselors assist pupils and families to facilitate pupils' growth. It includes the services such as teaching to comprehend self and others, educational preparation, changeover strategies. Coming to the services of responding, it is an action in response to the current and preventive needs and apprehensions of students. The school counselors gives importance to the student who is under stress, which affects his or her self, professional and educational growth, including the services. The services for this are personal or group psychotherapy, self-parent school crisis therapy, a session with a therapist or cooperative therapy, and other recommendations. Coming to the support system, it is the organizational actions related to the establishment, maintenance, and improvement of the overall school counseling, which includes expert growth, a session with therapist, work as a team, guidance plan, and task. Lack of involvement of counselors in rural community or small town is maybe due to less privacy. The community retains its potential by enabling student counselors to use the social capital of visibility to connect the school with the local business. Now let us see about rural school counselors, social justice, advocacies and competencies. The counselors use the advocacy skill of the American Counseling Association as a guide in their work by focusing on social justice advocacy in a variety of settings. Coming to student advocacy, the self-advocacy helps the students to understand their lives in context. Self-promotion is very important for rural students because a marginalized population is often the target of negative and detrimental attitudes. Rural school counselors should find ways to improve their rural school life and be an integral part of the learning environment. School counselors work together to deliver lessons that are consistent with student standards. This collaborative advocacy could take the form of classroom-based orientation, lessons taught jointly with science and mathematics teachers on community-related topics. In agricultural communities, the lesson could inform about how crops are planted and cultivated and the relationship with the immediate community and the community at large. These lessons hold students accountable of who they are, where they come from, and how they and their community contribute to the economy. For example, if the rural community was from the coastal, the lessons would relate to shrimp or fishing. The major commonality is the importance of rural aspect of student life. Classroom counseling does not need to be built around school, personal, social, and career examples limited to the rural context, but simply adding examples to which students can relate can give the impression that their current context and experiences are valid and meaningful. In the field of career, rural students also need additional advice, either individually or in class, to teach them to defend themselves with regard to their future after secondary school. Since enrollment in colleges is lower in rural areas, there are many first generation students and it may be particularly difficult to jump into higher education. Rural school counselors should consider the educational levels of many rural families and make additional efforts to guide students towards a future that might seem unattainable without their support. Rural school counselors demonstrate how selected professions apply social justice strategies to meet the needs of rural students in advocating student rights. The counselors feel that students often express the belief that they and their families have always lived the way they do, example, with limited career opportunities, and that there is no point in trying to do more. The advocacy of rural students of this counselor means helping students realize their potential in rural setting. What is the need for therapists in rural schools? Institutes require therapists to motivate pupils through the choice of a pathway and appropriate subjects. Educational counseling enables them to know several occasional choices available as well as career guidance helps students choose alternative career choices. If the students in rural areas acquire early stage guidance services, it is often possible to avoid dropping out of high school or changing their classes in the middle of the session. In informed decision-making families, pupils and instructors are included so that the entire team need to be combined. These processes encourage students to interact with subject matter experts to help them make decisions. Career counseling programs help students understand the employment spectrum and other demands for a particular occupation. Students have to take a psychometric test to analyze their attitudes and behaviors. It helps to select the correct career options. The financial conditions plays an important role in rural people to pass the psychometric test. This kind of programs encourages not only the education but whole growth and also for students to develop their abilities early on. State of higher education in rural schools. The higher education context is not as happy for the rural students, although a great number of students attend schools. The number of dropouts is quite high. Many students are unable to bridge the skill gap with employment opportunities. Rural pupils require adequate advice in overcoming these gaps. In rural regions, employment is a major cause for most students after graduation. Therefore, an education counselor would raise the awareness of these occupational requirements and make pupils ready at an early age. Rural schools are not well equipped with modern appliances and there is frequent absence of scientific integration with schooling. While city schools are fortified with modern devices, counseling is building a bond to improve the education of rural students. In this video, we have understood about rural school counseling and advocacy for rural students in a nutshell. In the next video, we will discuss about school counseling in an urban school setting. Thank you.